Hello, this is Courtney Robinson here to talk to you today about happiness and well-being, how to have more happiness, how to have more joy, and ultimately also success is relative to what you value and how you feel. So I would also say how to be more successful in life. And I have found this true for myself. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe, and if you'd like to comment, that would be great. I do this as a hobby. I just want to preface again, I'm not great at editing. I'm not going to try to do this as a career. I have a very full and busy couple of careers. And so I'm going to share this with you, but I'm a little concerned that this might get a little all over the place. I'm going to do my best. This is week 4 of the Science of Wellbeing from Yale. I'm taking a class at Yale for 10 weeks for a certificate. I have to make a certain score. So far, I'm doing good. And I just want to share with you what the science says about your well being, because overall, everything is tied to your well being, really. Your health is tied to your well being, your success, your financial success, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about others, how you feel about your life. And really, what is more important than us feeling like we have a healthy life? So, I'm going to start with you about what I learned this past week on happiness. First of all, taking up from last time I posted, we want to learn to that experiences over stuff is important, and how we want to take our time, and the science shows that planning things, having experiences, reflecting upon those experiences, and savoring those experiences when we have them actually makes us happier. And the way that we savor those and the way that we reframe those will make a difference. Let me give you a little story from this past week that will explain this better than me just giving you all the science. So, I know it's important to my husband to do things with family, but my husband is very busy and has very severe ADHD, and I think that, in fact, that might be diagnosable, but it is also, he works really hard, 2 jobs. So, because we own a business and he has a W-2 job, I said, why don't we have a cookout on the 4th of July, and we'll invite the kids and the grandparents and the grandkids. And so we did, and we were planning it, and I don't eat meat or dairy, and I was getting some pushback about that because I said I'll do all of the things, I'll make all of these things, but if you want meat or cheese, please bring that, because I'm thinking, potlucks, all of our kids are adults, they could bring a side dish, or they could bring their own meat to throw on the grill. But I told them I'd provide drinks, chips, side dishes, things like that. So I was getting a lot of pushback, and I was getting kind of angry and irritated with people because I felt like, here I've spent like $400 to have this cookout. We had to buy some things, grill stuff, and there was just a lot of like fun stuff we had to get, food for like 20 people. And so I had to stop myself because I was letting that experience start to get negative for me, and I had to reframe it. First of all, I had to tell myself, okay, yeah, I've spent all this money, but we're at a time in our life when we have it. $400 isn't going to make or break us like it would 5 or 6 years ago, even. We're at a time in our life where our grandkids are just getting. I was married. My husband had grandkids when we got married. They're a little older. They're teenagers, and so I thought, I'm not always going to be able to do this for them. They're going to grow up and go off, and everyone won't always be here. So I had to reframe it. We have the money. My husband even went and got meat. We don't eat meat, but he went and got meat for them, which I was having a hard time with. And I just thought, I can only control myself. And so I'm going to focus on making the best of it, and the fact that my mother-in-law is still here. So I reframed that experience, and I thought about the positives. And then when it got here, I tried not to be so busy that I didn't sit down and enjoy it. I enjoyed the beautiful day. I enjoyed the food. I had a few things I don't normally eat that other people made, and I just really allowed myself to savor it. And so it ended up being fun and a good experience, but I had to work on my mindset to make that happen. And I would say things like, isn't it a beautiful day? Didn't my son Cole do a great job with cooking this and that? And just things like that, trying to compliment people, trying to notice things. And that is one thing, verbalizing what you're savoring, verbalizing, how lucky you feel or how you're in the present moment, being proud of yourself, being proud of others. Like, yeah, I did. My mother in law said, "This is a lot of work, isn't it?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, it is a lot of work." But in that, I was proud of myself because I did do the work and I acknowledged that it was. So, mindful savoring is what this is called, and experience and mindful savoring. When we mindfully savor, oh, this is really good. 2 weeks ago, we went out to a friend's birthday and I had 2 Moscow mules and a piece of birthday cake. I don't normally drink alcohol or eat sugar, but I thoroughly savored it. I enjoyed the drink. I enjoyed the taste of the food. I just enjoyed that time, and I don't regret it at all. Now I got right back on track and started back on my healthy way of eating the next day, but mindfully savoring, that's what I want the takeaway to be from this. So, what makes us feel worse is thinking about how something could be better in the future. Oh, this would have been better if I had done this, or this would be better. Or it will never be this good again. It's so great right now, but it's never going to be this good again. Or it's not as good as I hoped it could be. So focusing on what is not. If this could be better, it's going to be better in the future, or I don't deserve this. Those kind of things still are happiness. So, I can't say it enough. Mindset is key to happiness, and looking at things with a grateful heart. All right, so taking pictures has been shown to be a mixed bag. It's good to take pictures and share them if, when we look back on them, we feel a sense of savoring and we're using pictures to be in the moment, to be good, but we're not overdoing it. So, for instance, I'm about to go to Colorado on vacation. I'm really bad at taking pictures because I forget. I get so enthralled with the moment that I just don't think to get my phone out and take pictures. I find it to be a nuisance. So I told my husband the other day, I realized we've had all these events here at the farm. Every holiday we have a big meal for all of our family, and I don't have any pictures hardly from it because I forget. I wish I had some pictures, but if I was taking pictures the whole time and not sitting down and enjoying things or enjoying a meal or taking things in, that would rob me of that experience. So finding some balance with the picture taking, and then later looking back at the pictures and savoring those moments will lead to lasting happiness. And this is all the science based. So I'm afraid this is going to get really long. I'm going to try to keep it short. Number 2, so all of that was about savoring and experience, is negative visualization. And the movie It's a Wonderful Life, the Christmas movie, is about this. It's thinking about, what if this were the last day that I was going to ever experience this again? What if this were the last day I was ever going to experience having to cook out with my family? Would I have this kind of crappy attitude about buying meat that I don't eat? Because I do have an ethical stance about it. Please don't give me flack about it. I'm not judging you. It's just personal. So it's just like, do I want to focus on that, or do I want to focus on the fact that my family is together and that I have a family? So that will help break us out of adaptation, hedonic adaptation, getting used to things. Focusing on, my husband and I went floating on the river yesterday, and it was so much fun. And if I had been focused on, oh, it would have been better if this or that, or even the fact that at one point there were chicken houses up in the distance and they had fertilized them and it stunk. If I had just focused on that, it would have ruined my day. But focusing on how much fun we had, and we got out and we did something together, my husband was like, I can't believe I didn't work today. And I'm thinking, because he works all the time, he's a workaholic. So yeah, just thinking, what if this were the last, or what if I don't get to experience this again? Number 3 is, well, that was number 3. Number 2 and 3 were kind of went together. Number 4 is gratitude. I'm grateful for every time. And I talked to a couple of my boys about this because they were kind of going through some negative emotions. And I just said, one thing I have always said, and I, am a spiritual person. I consider myself a Christian with influences from other religions like even Buddhism and Judaism. And, I've looked at all the world religions, and they're so much more similar than they are in their philosophy than not. But I often say to my family, why would God give you more if you don't appreciate what you have right now? And so I've asked them to try, every time they feel like complaining, to try to think about what they're grateful for. Yes, we all need people we can vent to. We all need to have someone that we can talk about our frustrations, someone that will listen, not judge us, give us compassion, but also maybe lead us back to, look at what you have and look at all that you have, because abundance does not come from a negative mindset. And so it has been proven that when we do that, we actually feel better. And so gratitude increased well-being. It made us feel better physically and mentally. It makes us feel better about our future and our overall well-being. And some other things that do that are getting 30 minutes of exercise at least 5 days a week, and sleeping. The study showed sleeping for 7 hours a night at least 4 days a week. I cannot imagine not sleeping 7 hours a night every night of the week. I usually sleep about 8, but getting a good night's sleep. As a society, we are very sleep deprived, and this is causing a lot of problems. Also, in relationships, people who showed gratitude for one another, who said, I appreciate you because, I'm grateful for you because, had it almost nullified their chances of divorce. I'm grateful that you bring me coffee in the morning. I'm grateful that you ask me if you can help me. I'm grateful that you work so hard. I'm grateful that you're so sweet to your mother, whatever it is. That really helped relationships and the way people view their relationships. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is reference points. How we compare ourselves to others. And we generally compare ourselves to people that we perceive are better than us, not in worse shape than us. And looking at people that are worse shape than us does not actually make us feel better about ourselves, oddly. But in general, we can. So let me explain. So looking at the Victoria's Secret model versus the Dove campaign of real bodies. So that is actually helpful. We look at that and we think, oh, okay, normal women look like this. Not very few women have a Victoria's Secret body, and those are often photoshopped and everything else. So that actually does help us, like having a reference point that this is the average normal woman and she looks like this. But when one thing that can help us is, let's say we landed our dream job, and then after about a year, it doesn't feel like the dream job. You got to be there every day. Like for me, I hate medical charting. I did land my dream job, a job I wanted for 20, 30 years. I landed, but it then came with things like being in front of the computer, and I hate that part of my job. But I sit there and I tell myself, okay, I'm getting paid really well for this, and this only takes up a small portion of my job. And these are all the wonderful things about my job, and that has helped me immensely be grateful for my work. So think about your fantasy versus your reality. Look back at the crappy jobs you've had in the past and think about what that felt like. Like now, I go to work 4 days a week for a half day. I'm off every weekend and every night. For 20 years, I worked every other weekend. I worked nights. Oh my gosh, I ran like a dog to make a career in my field. I was a business owner. I am still a business owner because I'm a contract employee, or not employee, I'm a contractor, but I'm more like an employee in the sense that I can pick my schedule. I go to work every, day. I get off, I get a check. I don't have to worry about the overhead so much anymore. And I love that. So just re-experiencing and comparison. If you're always comparing yourself to people who have better than you, or you're being envious, envy is the killer of joy. Comparison is the killer of joy when it is focused on envying what other people have. That is not reality. I just did a video on my frugal farmhouse, and my house is it's pretty and it's nice, but it's not magazine worthy. And I did that because I wanted to be real with people. I want people to see, like, yeah, I have mostly used furniture and it's cute and everything, but it is not a country living or southern, whatever that magazine is. It's not going to go into a magazine spread. So just seeing how normal, natural people live. All right. So if you catch yourself being envious or doing social comparison, like on social media, there is a trick that's just called stop. And what you do, if you can say it out loud, you just say it out loud. Like, so if you're scrolling through or you're watching HTV and you're feeling like, oh, I want this, I want that, you say out loud, stop. You catch yourself. And then you just kind of remind yourself that that's not healthy and that's not what reality is. And then and you stop doing it. So honestly, getting rid of social media or limiting will increase being happier, being mindful about social media and your consumption of things like anything that brings advertising in. This is a bit of a repeat from last week, but it just went on to show the science behind that and to pause things and do things like having no spend days, months. I've done this quite a bit. Happiest year of my life was the year I did a no spend. My rules were no new clothes, no new jewelry. Not that I buy a lot of jewelry, but costume jewelry, like earrings or whatever. No new books. I had to go get them from the library unless I had to buy them for work. And I just didn't shop, and it really increased my happiness. What I did was I put a pause in hedonic adaptation. I did not allow for lifestyle creep to come in. Pausing lifestyle creep really, really helps. If you eat dessert every day, taking 3 days without dessert will help you appreciate dessert later. If you live in a beautiful place and you have to go away for a while, and you come back, you really appreciate that place. You really appreciate home. And that's different for everybody. So, but you don't want to do things daily. If you use Amazon Prime or Amazon every day you're ordering, deleting the app or getting off of it, saying for like 1 month, I'm not going to get on Amazon, then you'll regain a bit of appreciation for the fact of that ease. Taking a break from things. Also, if there's something that you're dreading doing, this has helped me a lot with work. Do it all at once rather than breaking it up. And so that kind of goes against the advice that we give at work, like exercise and stress management. I encourage people to use it throughout their day. That's not really the same thing. I do not like doing medical charting, but I have to do it. I have to get it in within 24 hours. So I have learned the way my schedule is, I can do it every other day and meet that deadline. And then I do the bulk of my charting on Fridays right after work before 5 o'clock. I've made that habit, and so I get it done. I need to do some tax work. I know that I can't do all of it until some paperwork comes in the mail, so I am not going to sit down and do that until it's all here and I can dedicate like a whole half a day or whatever I need to do that. So if there is something that you could just tackle as a big project, that may make it easier on you than breaking it up. And that's going to vary. Also, as someone who teaches pain management, if you struggle with physical pain, you don't want to go tackle your whole closet or storage shed in one day. You might want to just tackle like the sock drawer and then, your shoes, and then your blouses or your shirts, whatever. However, if it is something that you can just tackle at once, it may help you get past the discomfort of it. So also just want to talk about, miswanting is thinking that we're going to get something and it's going to make us happier. Thinking about times when we did get something and it didn't make us happier. Like for instance, let's say we wanted I did recently get a new to me car. It's 8 years old and I am happier with it. But my overall set point of happiness isn't really that different. I'm more comfortable in it. I travel. I spend a large part of my time in it. Maybe I really wanted a new outfit. It will make me happy temporarily, but I know, because I know I do this work all the time, I have been for 21 years, that getting the things are not going to change my baseline of happiness for long term. It's a temporary fleeting happiness, and that's okay. That's not bad. as long as your expectation is such that you know that stuff doesn't lead to lasting happiness. It's the daily gratitude, it's the daily savoring, it's realizing when you're doing comparison that's unhealthy. So I hope that this has been helpful. Week 5 is this week. I'm still not sure when I'm going to get that all done. I have a crazy week ahead of me, so we have a little extra work this week at work. But I am so grateful you're here. This is a long video. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful day. Please remember to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.